What's up, guys? This is going to be my very first video on this channel, and I thought that the best way to really start off this channel would be to do a budget build video. So for today I have a $500 video editing, not gaming, but a video editing type build for you guys. I thought gaming was sort of overused, and I know a lot of people that really want to start video editing for YouTube videos and channels and stuff like that, so I thought it would be good. 500 is a good starting point. Most people have around that much money, so let's begin. Alright guys, so for the CPU I decided to go with the AMD FX 8320 8-core processor. Now this CPU is pretty much good for anything, but it really shows its colors when it comes to multi-core rendering and stuff like that that you use in video editing. And it's priced only at like 130 bucks, which is insane for an 8-core CPU. This fits right in the budget of 500. It doesn't go over or under, and I would say the only downside is that it has a overheating issue, but an aftermarket cooler can really fix that. Other than that, this CPU would be great for this build. Now for the motherboard, I decided to go with the Gigabyte GA78 LMT USB 3 motherboard. Now before I head on with the features, I just want to say that this is made by Gigabyte, so you already know that it's reliable since Gigabyte usually has top of the line motherboards. As for the features, it comes with USB 3.0 USB ports on it, hence the USB 3 at the end of its name. Also has tons of other features, such as it can support SATA RAIDs and SSDs, and I'm pretty sure it supports 32 gigs of up to 2100 megahertz of RAM. So you're pretty much getting a very good deal for under 70 bucks with this motherboard. Now for video editing, 16 gigs of RAM is really the sweet spot, but because of price restraints, I couldn't really fit this into our build. Instead of 16 gigs, I decided to go with 8 gigs of 1600 megahertz RAM. Now, you will see a difference between 8 and 16, but 8 will still really get the job done. That's still a lot of RAM by today's standards. So I feel like 8 gigs is enough for this build, and paired with the 8320 8-core processor, rendering times should be a-okay. As for the storage, I decided to go with a 1TB Seagate Barracuda 7200 RPM hard drive. Now for video editing, again, an SSD would definitely be the better choice. If you can afford one, definitely go for one, but for this build, we only have $500, so I did have to cut somewhere, and unfortunately, I couldn't add an SSD in here. Either way, 1TB is enough. Actually, it's a good bit, and you can always upgrade anytime you want. So for the storage, I think 1TB will do this particular build a lot of justice. Now in video editing, the video card is pretty controversial. If I made this video a few years ago, I definitely wouldn't have even considered putting a decent video card in, but with the new video editing programs taking a lot more control of the video card, I feel like I need to put at least a half decent video card in this build. So for this build, I decided to go with the Radeon 7750 video card. This card is low cost, low budget, and performs well in both gaming, and it can help take the load off the 8320 in video editing. For the case, I decided to go with the Erinimax Ostrogue ATX mid-tower case. Now this case has a lot of cool features, including USB 3.0 and a bottom PSU mount. But I would say what I really like about this case is the fact that it has good airflow and cable management, and that's what you really want in a case, especially something you're using for video editing. Because of the rendering power of the CPU and because of all the rendering that you will be doing with the video editing, a lot of heat will be created that could be potentially harmful to your system. So the fact that this comes with a case fan and you can add 2 more is very beneficial. As you guys know, you should never cheap out on the power supply, and this build isn't any different. So for the power supply, I went with the Corsair CX430 430 watt power supply. This power supply is 80 plus certified, and it comes with 430 watts of power, which will be more than enough for a system like this. And lastly, I decided to add a CD drive just because a lot of people still use CDs and DVDs, and not everything is still being digitally downloaded. And the CD drive is generic. It's just an Asus CD drive that costs less than $20. It will be extremely helpful to just have one in there in case you do need one for later on, and in case somebody does have a CD and you need to play it, it can be extremely helpful, and it's better to add it than to leave it out. $20 really won't do much to this build, and we still stay in budget with this added in. Well guys, that was my $500 video editing PC. You're welcome to change it any way that you like, and in the description I'll add some upgrades that I think would be pretty helpful to add and that will be pretty cost effective. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that stuff if you want to. And as always, peace and thanks for watching again.